How is everyone doing tonight? So tonight I'm going to do a little video on a company that I have grown to really like. These are the BergBlades knives. Matt is the designer, and he is a knife creator, and he has created some wonderful production knives that I'm going to go over with you tonight. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the BergBlades Mini Sweeney. This is my most recent acquisition. This is a DLC Mini Sweeney, basically. DLC frame, DLC blade, and a nice satin polished finish on that DLC. Really beautiful. This is my first DLC knife that I've ever owned. DLC, if you're not aware, is a coating that's extremely resistant to scratches and blemishes, so it should hold up really well. And this is the mini version. I don't have a lot of mini knives. I've got a couple, but this is the smallest one. Generally, I like knives that are a little bit bigger than this guy, but this is a sub 3-inch knife. So if you're, well, it's I think it's right. I think it might be right at 3 inches, but if you're at a 3-inch and under state where they require you to carry something that's smaller, you know, I could see this really fitting the bill. Forest Eye fat carbon on that, DLC frame, DLC blade, BergBlades logo. Yeah. And for a smaller knife, you can still get a pretty good grip on it. You know, you can get a full 4-finger grip on it, especially if you choke up a little bit. And even if you're back here, you still can. Mini Sweeney, been pretty happy with this one. I will say that I would rather this be in full size, but I've already got 2 full-size variants of the Sweeney. So, you know, I figured why not get the mini? The next one we'll talk about is the regular Sweeney, but this is the Arctic Fat Carbon Storm version. Pretty cool looking. This is a stonewash finish on this guy. Titanium backspacer, titanium clip. The clips work really well on the Sweeneys, by the way. And they've got probably the best top flipper I've ever used. I mean, it's just really intuitive. It grips your hand really well. This is a really good size EDC. And it's probably my most carried knife of 2025 is the BergBlades Sweeney. I just really enjoy the deployment methods. The reverse flick is really well thought out. Perfect detent for it. You can thumb flick it. You can also, obviously, it's just got it. The fidget factor's high. You know, it's got a lot of options there, and that carbon fiber is really nice looking. Stonewash finish on this 20 CV blade. And as well as, I believe it's a stonewash finish on the frame as well. You know, good blade. I love the Sweeneys. And this one is a little bit different. So this is the bead blasted with a hand rub satin blade. And that blade is really something. Same dimensions on these two, obviously. They're the same knife, just different variants. I will say that, so I had a different serial number of this variant before, and I actually had an issue with it, and I had to send it back. So I contacted River's Edge Cutlery, and I said, you know, I'm having a little bit of an issue with this knife, and they were really good about exchanging it out. So what happened was, after I carried it for a while, it developed a little bit of, I don't know if you call it lock rock or blade play, but it had a little up and down, and it bothered me a little bit, you know, because I like my knives to be solid, especially in this price range. And that one had a little bit of play. So, you know, when I contacted them, they said, hey, we don't have that variant available, but we have another one. And this was the other one. They had this, and I think the Mars Valley carbon fiber as well. I went with the Arctic Storm. But I actually wind up regretting having to send that one back. So when this one popped up on eBay, I pulled the trigger. It was about $40-50 off of retail. And it's just such a clean looking knife. That hand rub satin's beautiful, and I put this Damascus clip on it that he sells on his website separately, although they might be sold out now, but it really adds a little pop of color to this knife, and I just thought it suited it well. This has been, like I said, the most carried knife that I have of 2025 so far. Okay, so we took a look at all the Sweeneys, mini and regular. Great knives, highly recommendable. All the BergBlades knives are manufactured by Riat, and the tolerances are super tight, high quality. I have put skiff bearings in 1, 2, 3 of these. So these 3 have skiffs. The next one I'll talk about is the BergBlades Tick. This one has, like I said, skiffs, but this is a multi-row skiff bearing that I put in this one. Now the OEM bearings or stock bearings that it came with were single row, but they worked fine. They were functionally great. There was no blade play. Everything was great with them, but I figured I'm going to upgrade it. Why not? And I did. I put multi-rows in it, and this knife is so smooth. It's really comfortable knife. It's a full-size knife, a little bit bigger than the Sweeney's, obviously than the mini Sweeney. Contoured titanium handles with these nice micarta inlays, pivot collar, nice fuller, which you can reverse flick off of really easily. This knife has, well, actually, all these knives have excellent reverse flicking, and the action is good on all of them. This has some jimping on the top. These do not have jimping, but I'm okay with that. But what's kind of cool about this one is it's on the frame as well, and it gives you a nice purchase. Like I said, very ergonomic knives, well designed. All of them are very comfortable in hand. They have excellent pocket clips. This one is really spectacular. I mean, it's contoured pocket clip with a contoured titanium scale, rounded, no sharp edges, in and out of the pocket, incredibly easy, well-designed pocket clip. I didn't really talk about the steels on this one. This one is MagnaCut, 20 CV on both these, S90V and MagnaCut on this guy here. So all high quality steels, all top tier, steels, very tight tolerances and well designed. This is the Alpha. So this was a design that I think he based off of his fixed blades, and you can kind of tell by looking at it. Even let me get a little alcohol on this guy here. Even though it's a folding knife, you look at it and it looks like a fixed blade almost. It has this nice shape to it, really aggressive jimping, which more aggressive than any of the other BergBlades knives that I've tried. Beautiful micarta handles, contoured, incredibly comfortable. And this is, they call it a liner lock, but to be honest with you, it's kind of a frame lock. It's titanium with a steel lock bar insert, just the same as all these other BergBlades knives. So they all have the same titanium lock bar with the steel lock bar insert, and they all have solid lockup. This thing is rock solid. It has no blade play at all, and it has amazing action. It's just really smooth. Very good detent. It is a little bit lighter, but it's tuned really well for the top flipper. It is one of the only BergBlades that I can flick out like that because the detent is a little lighter. But like I said, the lockup is incredibly solid. No issues there. Fuller is easy to reverse flick off, just as the Tick is as well. And a lot of people had issues with this pocket clip, but I got to tell you, I've used it and I don't mind it at all. I don't wear super thick pants, so maybe that's why it doesn't present any issues for me, but pocket clip has been fine on this guy. So functionally, all these knives are really well designed. I just kind of wanted to go over BergBlades and, the BergBlade BergBlades knives that I've acquired. I've been pretty happy with all of them. So I just kind of wanted to do a video. If you're thinking about picking up one of Matt's knives, like I said, I think they're well designed. Deployment methods are excellent. Tolerances are tight. They all have solid lockup. And they're just good EDC blades. This is a little more on the robust end, these two. A little bit bigger. None of them are by means ridiculously heavy or oversized or anything like that. But these are going to take up a little more room in the pocket. They weigh slightly more, but it doesn't bother me at all. You know, I would carry any one of these and I would be just fine with it. This is kind of what most people would consider the Goldilocks size and zone. And for good reason. You know, this is a thin knife, lightweight. All these knives, like I said, are titanium with steel lock bar inserts and just very high quality blades. These are all manufactured by Riot. I think he had some earlier models that were manufactured by WE. I haven't had a chance to try any of those, but I will say WE makes a really good knife, high quality. Maybe not quite the level of Riot until you get into some of WE's higher end knives. Then I would say that they are equal in quality. But yeah. So I thank everybody for joining me. If you like this video, like, subscribe. Like I said, the BergBlades lineup is highly recommendable as far as I'm concerned. These are smaller batch knives, so they're limited in the number. Like some of these, I think 50 or 60 of each variant. They do have multiple variants of each model. Like this one has a polished DLC version with carbon fiber scales, and then it's got some frame lock versions. So like most of these models have multiple versions. So, you know, if these aren't your, you know, if you want a different aesthetic, there's options out there. Like there's a Mars Valley on this one, and I think they might have a shredded carbon fiber, like a dune carbon fiber, which looks pretty cool. Multiple versions of this inlay on the tick. Shredded carbon fiber variant of the Alpha, you know, with different blade finishes. And so there's options out there. But like I said, some high quality blades. You know, I've been drawn to these BergBlades for a reason. They're enjoyable to carry and use. And as far as the knives that I've tried, they're up there. You know, top tier quality. So I just kind of wanted to share my BergBlades collection with everybody. If you're thinking about getting one of these guys, yeah, just go ahead and don't hesitate. You won't regret it. They're well worth picking up. Small batch, like I said, so you have something unique and easy to carry and easy to use. Well, thanks everybody for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. If you like this video, like, subscribe. I'll be dropping a few more videos from time to time. And y'all have a wonderful night out there. Thanks again.